Hey, folks, my guest it is Peter Merkert. He's a tech wizard with strong business knowledge on how to run a company successfully. He started to realize early on that the true challenge in our society will be bridging the tech and non-tech world, especially with topics like blockchain. More confusion is created than problem solved. Besides all that, he's a fast learner to adopt today's challenge running a company. He's including a semi-remote setup, agility and development, quick learn iteration loops to fail fast. He's now building Retraced.co, a sustainability management platform. Peter, you ready to take us to the top?
Yes, of course. Lovely introduction, Nathan. Happy to be here. So yes, indeed, that's pretty.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to have you on. So tell us who's paying for Retraced, who's using you, and how are they using you?
Actually, every fashion company you can imagine might be a client of Retraced because we are building a sustainability management platform for the fashion industry, meaning brands, manufacturers, suppliers, supplier, down to the raw material producer, actually. It depends how they use the platform if they actually have to pay for it, because obviously most of them are not willing to pay. Especially if you're a small company, because typically what you do, you contribute information into the platform, because this is what we are all about. For the last ones in the tier, like a retailer, these are the ones who actually want to process and report information. Whereas in the lower tiers in the supply chain, this is less necessary. So you want to just have something to easily collect information and process them on for the next party in line.
Yep. Okay. So fashion brands are your customers today. What are they paying on average per month to use your technology?
It's not only fashion brands. It could also the same be suppliers or manufacturers. Every fashion company, actually, you can imagine. We are
understood.
So in average, it's approximately 800 euros.
Okay. So about $1,000 per month, whether it's a supplier or a brand, etc.
Yes. It heavily depends. Actually, it's quite unique because it heavily depends on the size of clients, since there are a lot of small ones who do not need a lot of functionality of the platform.
But the average you would say of all you're paying is about $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. And I imagine it's you're building a tool for the fashion brand is very different than if you're going to build a tool for the supplier or somebody else. So who are you building this tool for specifically?
It's very tricky and challenging to build this tool, actually, because you can't just build it for one party. You have to build it for all to make a benefit out of it. The problem in the fashion industry is it's non-digitalized and very low connectivity here. And we've earlier on, my co-founders actually have founded their own shoe brand and footwear brand. And this is where we all started. They wanted to.
How many of you guys are there?
We are three co-founders in total. It's me and two others.
You just split equity evenly at the beginning, or no?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So how we started actually out is their footwear brand. They wanted to showcase the sustainability because they really were into the manufacturer. They knew everyone on the spot, but they had no means to communicate it. And this is when they came to me and said, "Hey, can we not build a system?" And I said, "Yeah, fine, great." So we started to communicate it. Small QR codes on fashion items, soon realizing the demand is massive in this area of sustainability, because you have to prove actually the sustainability. A lot of people claim it with badges, but it's just not enough. And this is how we started. The traction was massive. And then we started to say, okay, let's build it up for everyone. So we built a platform for actually the brands, the retailers, mainly for communication purposes, soon realizing that's not enough, because you need the suppliers and manufacturers on board, because they have the information. They know when something got produced.
And so walk me through your first customer. Who was it?
I mean, besides the footwear brand of my fellows, it's actually peers of them, because, the industry was still very small when we got started 4 years ago.
And that was 2019?
Yeah, just 1.5 years before, approximately that, when we started. And the great thing is we started with
Peter. So what year did you launch?
2018, I think.
Okay, it's 2018. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. 2018, mid 2018, isn't it?
Okay, so 2018.
With Corona, you kind of lost a year.
Yeah. But 2018, you launched. You're scratching your own itch, right? You build this for your own footwear brand. Then you bring in Peer as your first customer. How many customers are you now serving today?
I think we are above 50 brands already. I'm not counting.
50 or 15?
Yeah, 50.
50. Okay, very cool. And 50 brands paying at that average price you told me earlier, $1,000 a month. That would mean you guys are doing about $50,000 a month in revenue right now. Is that about right?
Yeah.
And if that's where you're at today, where were you exactly a year ago? Do you remember?
Basically nothing, I would say. We started very small, especially in COVID times. No one wanted to invest because back then we had COVID, and fashion brands often said, hey, we stay clients because we still want to utilize the platform. What's the benefit for us? We still get known, but we stopped most of the subscription revenue actually, and it was hard times.
Interesting. Okay, so maybe go from $2,000, $3,000 a month a year ago to now $50,000 a month. You've grown really nicely. Have you bootstrapped or raised capital?
We raised capital actually a year ago. That was then in the end of that year. Actually, we were very happy. Was with the venture capitalist on my partner.
So sorry, when was the first capital raised? What year?
I mean, when you count angels, or do you want to just have the VC? Because angels
no. Your first round, I think you raised 278,000 in early on, right?
Yeah. It was an earlier round with angels. I think that was in the beginning of that year of Corona or end of the previous year. Yeah, something around that because it got split kind of over multiple times.
Yep. So it looked like based off my team's research, you guys closed that in January of 2020 as about a $280,000 seed round. And I think that was at a $2.3 million valuation, something like that.
Yeah, it could be around something like that. Yeah.
Okay. And then you raised a little bit more this year. How much did you choose to raise?
So in the end of last year, it was 1 million to raise, actually.
You didn't just close a round in November for 1.2 million?
Not this year. It was last year, 2020.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Did you just formally close that based off your government filings? They say it was closed literally last month.
Okay, interesting that you picked up on that. So the thing is, it was with a performance condition because we set ourselves a strict target as founders. We said, we want to set ourselves a performance condition that product market fit is there. It's something we were proud of our product, but we were not sure if we are there, and we didn't want to risk too much. So we said in the end of last year, hey, we are going to close this. This is the amount we agree on, but we want to meet a performance condition that we have product market fit actually, and we wanted to prove it for ourselves. And this is why it came a little bit later.
When did the money actually get wired then?
It was split up in two tranches. You have first something sent over, so pretty much 50-50, okay? And then based on the performance condition, you got the rest of it. But the filing happened later because I'm not really sure. I think some people go on summer holidays. So effectively, we reached it earlier. So we had a performance condition, I think, set to the end of April, and we met it already in beginning of March.
Yeah. So what was the performance condition? Was it number of customers or revenue target or what?
It was MR actually. We had to.
What did you have to hit to get the second 600,000?
Well, let me think about it again. Was it something above 20 or so?
I see. Interesting. Okay, so you raised 1.2 million on this sort of performance-based seed round, and what was that, like a 6 or 7 million valuation, something like that?
Yeah, around about it.
Okay. And so, how do the three of you guys think about dilution?
How do you mean for ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want to get diluted, right? So as you're thinking, you're raising all this capital, how do you make sure to minimize dilution?
It's tricky. Depends on the situation. To be honest, in the end of last year, it was very tough. It was COVID. We were happy having someone who was still open to finance because we were just in the need of it in the end of the day. So how we were not getting diluted, I mean, to some extent, you have to do it. We are now looking into alternative possibilities of cash. So, for example, revenue-based financing. Yeah, that's a good alternative.
Yeah. How many folks are on your team today?
We are 24.
24. How many of those guys are engineers and gals?
I think 14.
14. Okay, so heavy engineering. That's great. Now, when these fashion brands and suppliers sign up, they stick. What's your churn look like?
I think it's basically nothing. I think we have lost two clients or so, something like that. Okay. 2. So not 2%, it's like less than that, a tiny bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But one has also to mention most contracts are 12 months. So I could also be biasing here, but actually they stick around for a longer period of time. Some even start to close for 2 years contracts time. As we are building something in the era of compliance, they are sticking around to it in any case. Mm-hmm. And actually I can be very proud of our customer excellence, head of customer excellence, because everyone who went through a trial period, pilot project, they were converted over into paying clients actually. And that could last from 3 to 6 months. And sometimes they even went over, said 6 months pilot, but after 4 months, they converted over because they were just convinced that it works.
Those are all healthy early indicators, Peter. That's exciting stuff. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
I think it's Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I would say my CEO. I like what he's doing. He's quite very smart.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building Retraced?
GitHub.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Not so much. Part of 2. 6.
Maybe. 6? Okay. And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Married, yeah. 2 kids.
2 kids. Wow. Okay. How old are you?
I'm 30.
30 years old. You had to think about it. All right. Last question. Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
Even going abroad earlier, because I went to China when I was 22. I would have loved to explore the areas even earlier.
Guys, travel more. They're building a tool to help fashion brands track supply chains and basically embodied energy. They were doing called $1,000 a month a year ago, now doing $50,000 per month. Great run rate, serving 50 customers. They've raised a total of about $1.4 million. Last round at a 6 or 7 million valuation. Team of 24, heavy engineering, 14 people as they look to continue to scale. Peter, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thanks, Nathan. Have a lovely day.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers. They try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.